Okay, wrestling world, everyone is shocked by the news today that Hulk Hogan has died. Now, I actually made a video a while back, and it wasn't even a while back. It might have been like maybe 2 months ago. There was rumors that Hulk Hogan had already passed away. But then his PR team came out and was saying that that wasn't true. He was just in the hospital due to, I think, some surgeries, or back surgery or something like that. He was just recovering from that, and he was in the hospital. And I guess, people hadn't seen him for a while, so they figured he had died or something. But when that news came out, the wrestling world was kind of shocked, but, they weren't sure. But today, definitely, we got news that Hulk Hogan has passed away. Now, more details are probably going to come out, about what happened. But, if I had to take a guess, it might have been from those surgeries and stuff. Like they say, you're never the same once you do the back surgeries and all that over and over again. Like, I know Hulk Hogan was saying something about, he lost height during the back surgeries and stuff. But, a lot of people, on the internet, some people, it's like 50-50 with Hulk Hogan, which is weird. Hulk Hogan came back, I think, was it Raw on Netflix, promoting that American beer. He got a lot of boos. A lot of people booing, but at the same time, a lot of people want to cheer him. Hulk Hogan is like 50-50 with the internet right now. Hulk Hogan said some very racist stuff, but does that tarnish his legacy? I doubt it. You could say the same thing about, people like Charleston White and other people. But I think Hulk Hogan's still going down as a legend. I mean, he has to go down as a legend. One thing I did like about Hulk Hogan, one thing I will say I liked about Hulk Hogan protected his character and protected his brand. And I'm not going to say protected his brand. As Hulk Hogan, in the ring, he protected that. Outside the ring, they had a lot of nonsensical stuff that went on. But Hulk Hogan would not put over just anybody. Hulk Hogan, in his mind, and honestly kind of true, he was that polarizing Roman Reigns-esque, type person, a legend. Hulk Hogan was not losing to you unless you had a solidified legacy in wrestling. Hulk Hogan not just gonna put over, somebody who's gonna be forgotten about 2 to 3 years, maybe even 5 years. If you wasn't in the business, 7, 8, 9, 10 years and was in the ring nonstop, getting put over, getting yourself over, Hulk Hogan wasn't losing to you. Like right now in the WWE, Roman Reigns would probably be the only person Hulk Hogan would put over right now. That's the only person. It had to make sense, and that's the only thing I like about it. You was not gonna just book Hulk Hogan any kind of way. Unless it was like Goldberg or something like that, where they were trying to make him the baddest badass person ever, you might could do it. But that's the only thing I liked about it. I wish the Undertaker would have kind of felt like that at sometimes, because I mean, once Taker started losing at WrestleMania, you know, they just started letting anybody beat him, which I hated that. You know, he went out, to me, Undertaker kind of went out sad. You know, he didn't go out as the dead man that was just over. You know, I get you gotta, you know, give it to some of the other guys. You know, you gotta put them over, but you didn't have to put them over at WrestleMania. You know, you could have kept that intact. And just like Bianca, you know, Bianca was undefeated at WrestleMania. I don't know why, you know, she decided to drop that to Io Sky. Like, for what? But I'm going off on a tangent, but, you know, Hulk Hogan, in my eyes, I'ma still say he a legend, you know, even though he said the stuff, which I think is gonna be forever, of calling him Benjamin Shelton. Like, I love that. You know, every time I see Shelton Benjamin, I'ma call him Benjamin Shelton. You know, that just showed you how strong of a character Hulk Hogan was. I mean, just that little instance of switching Shelton Benjamin names around, calling him Benjamin Shelton, you know, that's gonna stick forever. You know, but, you know, shouts out to Hulk Hogan. Honestly, I don't see where Hulk Hogan was like a straight up racist like Ric Flair and stuff. No one has stories like that. Or Andre the Giant, you know, he was a straight up racist. You know, Hulk Hogan, you know, there's no stories that shows Hulk Hogan being 1,000% racist person. You know, I don't think he had it in him. Now, same thing with you know, some of these other people, you know, they might say some stuff, but actions speak louder than words, you know. So shout out Hulk Hogan. You know, he had a good legacy. Supposedly, I think they were going to do a Hulk Hogan movie. I'm pretty sure that's going to come out now. You know, I hope SmackDown, you know, has a little tribute to him. I mean, they did a whole show dedicated to Chris Benoit. You have to have an entire show dedicated to Hulk Hogan. Raw on Netflix needs to do, I mean, it's 3 hours. You could dedicate an hour to Hulk Hogan. Like, I mean, Hulk Hogan needs a tribute. Hopefully all these other YouTubers put together some matches, and I'm a binge watch probably for the next few weeks until SummerSlam. I'm gonna binge watch a lot of Hulk Hogan stuff. You know, greatest matches, greatest leg drops. You know, Hulk Hogan was that guy. You know, decades on decades. I mean, Hulk Hogan had the wrestling world in a chokehold for almost 35, 40 years. So, I mean, no one could really, you know, attest to that. You know, Shawn Michaels can't, you know, he's a great wrestler, but Hulk Hogan had all the clout. Hulk Hogan had all the clout. You know, even The Rock, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, man, he wasn't over like Hulk. I'm sorry. Hulk Hogan was that guy. Hulk Hogan was that guy when you had other guys just as hot or close to being hot as Hulk Hogan. You know, in the WWE, it's Roman Reigns. That's it. That's it. Roman Reigns is the ultimate clout right now. But back then, man, you had 15, 20 Roman Reigns in each company. It's like that's hard to compete with. But R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Y'all, please drop your likes, drop your comments, drop your thoughts in the comment section. I want to hear what you guys have to say about Hulk Hogan. You know, don't put buku racist stuff in the comment section. Like, I want to hear your true thoughts on Hulk Hogan. Honestly, if you think Hulk Hogan was a true racist, drop that in the comment section. But, I want to know what's y'all greatest Hulk matches. What y'all think? What time do you think Hulk Hogan was the hottest? Like, had the most aura, was the most over in wrestling, period. It could be WWE, non-WWE. What time period was Hulk Hogan the most over? Drop that in the comment section.